Hey guys, welcome back to Shep Talk and welcome back to Shep Talk Movie Reviews. Before we get into the review though, a quick admin note. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a video. Also, I am on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All those links will be down in the description down below, so make sure you go there and follow me. Now, let's get to the review of Vampires vs. the Bronx. Vampires vs. the Bronx was directed by Oz Rodriguez. Vampires vs. the Bronx was written and directed by Oz Rodriguez and Blaze Hemingway. Blaze was just the writer, not the director. It stars Jaden Michael, Gregory Diaz IV, Gerald W. Jones III, and Sarah Gadon. Quick synopsis. A group of young friends from the Bronx fight to save their neighborhood from a band of vampires. I just want to say thanks again to Netflix for giving me a screener for Vampires vs. the Bronx. This movie comes out today on Netflix and has a runtime of 1 hour and 25 minutes. Now, I will say I had no idea what this movie was about when I got the screener. I just knew I liked vampires, and since it was October, it would be great to have something scary-ish for the beginning of this month. And man, was this movie a blast from the past. If you like old school vampire movies, especially from the 80s and the 90s, then Vampires vs. the Bronx will be your kind of movie. This movie really is a tribute to the old school vampire films. I want to say like Lost Boys, but not as gory and bloody, but that's the same type of rules, and you can tell some of the scenes were probably influenced by or movies similar to the Lost Boys. The premise is a bunch of friends are trying to raise money to help out a local shop in the Bronx because the landlord raised his rent. But there is a real estate company that has been making moves as well into the neighborhood, but that company is not all that it appears to be. The boys discover that the company is a front for the vampires that are trying to take over the neighborhood, and make it a safe place for vampires as well as an area for them to feed. I will say this is a fun movie, and I thought it was really well written. Movies too much nowadays have vampires or other old school horror creatures and try to change them too much or to update them for the times that we are in. But to me, nothing beats the old school versions. All that being said, this movie does fall down the same pits that the other movies do, and I know we all want the good guys to win and everyone to live happily ever after. But when you are going up against monsters that have super speed and super strength, it is really tough for me to believe that a group of people could have defeated them as easily as they did. Now, I don't mean all the deaths were easy setups. There were some that I thought were really well done, but others I'm like, you and all your friends should be dead. No ifs, ands, or buts. Another critique is the special effects. Man, I really wish they would have thrown or spent a few more bucks on the flying and super speed. It just looks really cheesy. I don't know if that was what Oz was going for. If so, awesome. You made it seem really cheesy and kind of did throw back to the 80s and 90s. But next time, if there is a next time, throw a few more dollars in the budget for special effects, will you? The acting in this movie is good. I won't say that there's any really standout performances, but everyone did a solid job. Especially sometimes with kids, especially kid actors, you get those that just do a good job and show you that kids can do this job as well. And then you get some kid actors that really need to go to acting school for a few more years, or maybe find another line of work. But the kids in Vampires vs. the Bronx do a good job and seem to have that childhood bond with each other that you have with those that you grow up with, and especially in the same neighborhood. Sometimes the kids just don't seem to click, and you can tell when they're supposed to be best buds that they're really not best buds and that they're just acting. It's stuff I notice, okay? I will say most of the background cast is thus there to add a line or two during scenes, and really don't offer much in moving the plot forward. This movie solely rests on the three young stars, and if they couldn't carry this movie, then it would have been a dumpster fire. But luckily, that is not the case. These kids do a great job acting, and this movie would have been totally different. As for cinematography, they didn't really have much of a reason to go to too many places. It is vampires versus the Bronx, so why should they leave the Bronx, or why would they leave the Bronx? So for cinematography, I thought the neighborhood looked really good and lived in. The apartments and the locations all felt and looked really good and really lived in. As stated previously though, the special effects were cheesy and could have used some extra money in the budget to help prop that up a little bit. But overall, the movie looked good. So overall, Vampires vs. the Bronx is a fun and enjoyable movie that really has an old school feel that I just really enjoyed and appreciated. I know I say this a lot, especially in these videos, but really in this day and age, it has become true. And I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe it. But Vampires vs. the Bronx is a good break from your day-to-day reality with everything that is going on right now. It is good to take your mind off something for a few hours at least and just enjoy it and not think about anything else. But with all that being said though, Shep Talk gives Vampires vs. the Bronx 3 Sheps out of 5. And guys, that is all I have for you today. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It means the world to me when you do. And if you did like this video, check this video out right here. I'm sure you'll find something that you like. But like I said, that is all I have time for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.